Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I am Jack, and I am so happy you are joining us today for another cozy conversation.
And I am Emma. I am sitting here with my favorite big mug of tea, and I am ready to talk. To be honest, Jack, I almost didn't make it today. I stayed in bed for an extra 20 minutes because the blankets were just too warm.
I think everyone listening can relate to that, Emma. But I'm glad you are here because today we are talking about something very important for our listeners. We are talking about confidence. Specifically, we are going to share 20 phrases that will help you sound more confident in English.
Oh, I need this today. Sometimes when I speak English, I feel like a tiny mouse. My voice gets quiet and I start using maybe and probably too much. It's like I'm afraid of being wrong.
That is exactly why we chose this topic. Confidence isn't about being perfect, it's about how you carry yourself. You can have a strong accent or make small grammar mistakes, but if you use the right phrases, people will listen to you with respect.
That sounds like magic. Can phrases really change how people see me? I often feel quite overwhelmed when I have to speak in a meeting or even just at a coffee shop.
Wait, Emma, you used a great word there. You said overwhelmed. Do you want to explain what that means for our friends listening at home?
Of course, when I say I feel overwhelmed, I mean I feel like there's too much happening at once. It's like a big wave of water hitting me, and I don't know what to do first. My brain just stops working because the stress is too big.
That is a perfect explanation. And feeling overwhelmed is the enemy of confidence. Today, we want to give you a toolkit. These 20 phrases are like tools you can keep in your pocket. When you feel nervous, you just take one out and use it.
I like that idea, a toolkit for my mouth. We're going to cover phrases for giving opinions, phrases for when you don't understand something, and even phrases for when you need to say no politely.
Exactly. We want you to stay with us until the very end of this episode, not only because we're going to dive deep into these phrases, but because we have a special vocabulary breakdown at the end. We'll take the hardest words from today and explain them very simply so you can use them tomorrow.
Yes, stay tuned. I'm actually going to share a story later about a time I tried to sound confident and it went completely wrong. It's a bit embarrassing, but Jack says we learn from our mistakes, right?
We certainly do. Every mistake is just a hidden lesson. So let's get comfortable, take a deep breath, and start our journey toward speaking confident English.
Let's jump right into our first set of phrases, Emma. One of the biggest secrets to looking confident is how you start your sentences. Many learners start by saying, I am sorry, but I think, or I'm not sure, but maybe.
Guilty. I do that all the time. I apologize for having an opinion before I even say the opinion. It's like I'm asking for permission to speak.
Exactly. Instead of apologizing, try using this phrase, from my perspective. It sounds professional and steady. For example, from my perspective, this project needs more time.
From my perspective. I like that. It sounds much stronger than I think. It feels like I'm standing on a high hill and telling people what I see from there.
That is a beautiful metaphor, Emma. Learning English is often like gardening. You can't just throw seeds on the ground and expect a forest the next day. You have to plant the right words and water them with practice.
Speaking of practice, I remember a time I tried to be confident at a restaurant. I wanted to tell the waiter my food was cold. In my head, I practiced saying, "Excuse me, I would like this heated up." But when he came over, I just pointed at the plate and whispered, "Cold. Sorry."
We have all been there. A great phrase for that situation is, I'd appreciate it if you could. It's polite, but very firm. I'd appreciate it if you could warm this up for me. It shows you know what you want.
That sounds so much better than just saying sorry. It feels like I'm in control of the situation. But Jack, what if I'm in a conversation and I don't know the answer to a question? I usually just freeze and look at the floor.
That's where many people lose their confidence. They think they must know everything, but a confident person can admit they don't know. Use this phrase. That's a great question. Let me find out for you.
Oh, that is clever. It turns my I don't know into an action. It makes me sound helpful instead of lost.
Exactly. Another one is, I'd like to add something here. This is perfect for when you're in a group and everyone is talking fast. You don't have to wait for a gap, you create the gap.
I struggle with that. Sometimes I feel like a car trying to merge onto a busy highway, but I'm too scared to push the gas pedal. I just sit there watching all the other cars go by.
That's a common feeling, but remember, your voice has value. If you use a phrase like, I'd like to add something, people will naturally pause to listen. It's like putting on your blinkers so people know you are moving in.
I'm going to try that next time I'm with my friends. Usually, I just nod my head and say yes, even when I don't agree, because I don't know how to disagree without being mean.
Disagreeing is a big part of confidence. You can say, I see it differently. It's not an attack, it's just a different view. It's much better than saying you are wrong.
I see it differently. That feels very safe, but also very honest. I think honesty is a big part of feeling confident. If I'm lying or hiding, I feel nervous.
You are right, Emma. Confidence is about being comfortable with the truth. If you make a mistake, you can just say, let me rephrase that. This is a powerful phrase. It means you're going to say it again in a better way.
Let me rephrase that. I use that one sometimes. It helps me stay calm when I realize my grammar just went out the window. It gives me a second chance.
It shows that you are the master of your language. You aren't letting the mistake stop you. You're just fixing the path as you walk. I want to move into something a bit deeper now. We have the phrases, but why is it so hard to actually say them when we are nervous?
That is the big question, Jack. For me, it is the fear of looking silly. I have this perfectionist voice in my head. If I don't say the phrase perfectly, I feel like everyone is judging me.
That is a very common feeling. We call that the spotlight effect. It is the feeling that everyone is watching your every move like you were standing under a bright light on a stage.
Yes, exactly. I feel like if I use a phrase like from my perspective and I mispronounce a word, people will think, who does she think she is? It makes me want to hide.
But the truth is, most people are too busy thinking about their own mistakes to notice yours. Confidence is really just a mindset. It is about being okay with being imperfectly understood.
To be honest, Jack, I had a really bad experience last week. I was trying to use a more professional phrase in a phone call. I wanted to say, I'm not quite following you, but I got nervous and said, I am not following your feet.
Oh no, what happened?
I felt so embarrassed. My face turned bright red and I just wanted to hang up the phone. I felt like a failure. I told myself, Emma, just stick to basic English, stop trying to be fancy.
I'm so glad you shared that. That feeling of being a failure is just a trick your brain plays. In reality, the person on the other end probably just thought it was a funny slip of the tongue.
Wait, slip of the tongue? What does that mean?
A slip of the tongue is when you say the wrong word by accident, even though you know the right one. It happens to native speakers all the time.
That makes me feel a bit better, but how do I stop that fear from stopping me next time?
You have to accept that feeling nervous is inevitable.
Inevitable? That's a big word. What are you saying there?
Inevitable means that something is definitely going to happen. You cannot stop it. If you walk in the rain, you will get wet. It is inevitable.
So you're saying I will always feel a little bit nervous?
Yes, and that's okay. Confidence isn't the absence of fear. Confidence is feeling the fear and speaking anyway. When you use these phrases, you are acting confident, and eventually your brain starts to believe the act.
So I should fake it until I make it? Like an actor in a movie?
Exactly. If you stand tall and use the phrase, I'd like to clarify something, your body sends a signal to your brain that you are safe and in charge.
I notice that when you speak, Jack, you don't rush. You take pauses. I usually talk really fast because I want the conversation to be over so I can go hide again.
Silence is a very confident tool. A confident speaker isn't afraid of a 1-second pause. It shows you're thinking. It shows you are not in a rush.
I'm going to try to breathe more. I think I hold my breath when I speak English. No wonder I feel so stressed.
Just remember, Emma, and everyone listening, you are doing something brave. Speaking a second language is a mountain. You don't have to run up the mountain. You just have to keep walking. I think it is time to bring our listeners into the conversation. We have talked a lot about our own feelings, but we want to hear from you too.
Yes, we have a question for everyone. Think about your daily life. When do you feel the least confident speaking English? Is it A, at work or school, B, when talking to strangers in public, or C, when chatting with friends?
That is a great question. Please tell us in the comments. I remember when I was learning my second language, I was always a C. I was actually more nervous with friends because I wanted them to think I was cool.
I am definitely a B. I can talk to my friends all day, but if a stranger asks me for directions, my brain just turns into a bowl of soup. I forget every word I have ever learned.
Well, whether you're an A, B, or C, let's quickly recap some of the tools we talked about today. We had from my perspective for giving opinions, and I'd appreciate it if you could for making requests.
And don't forget my favorite new one. That's a great question. Let me find out for you. It's much better than freezing like a statue when you don't know the answer.
We also talked about I see it differently for disagreeing, and let me rephrase that for when you make a mistake. These phrases are like a bridge that helps you cross the river of nervousness.
I really liked what you said earlier, Jack, about how confidence is a mountain. Sometimes I feel like I am sliding down the mountain instead of climbing up.
That is part of the process, Emma. Progress is not a straight line. Some days you will feel like a native speaker, and other days you will feel like you have forgotten how to say hello. Both days are okay.
I need to hear that. I usually get so angry at myself when I have a bad English day. I feel like I have lost all my progress.
You'd never lose progress. Every time you try to use one of these phrases, you are building muscle. Even if you say it wrong, your brain is learning. Be patient with yourself. You wouldn't yell at a baby for falling down while learning to walk, right?
That's true. I should be a little kinder to myself. I'm doing my best, and that is enough.
It is more than enough. You are all doing an amazing job just by showing up and listening to this. You are already ahead of everyone who didn't try today.
That makes me feel much better. I think I'm ready to move on to the final part of our show. I'm curious about those big words we used today.
Me too. Let's head over to our vocabulary breakdown and finish this episode strong. It is time for the vocabulary breakdown. This is the part where we look at those slightly more difficult words we used earlier and make them easy to understand.
I am ready. I've got my pen and my notebook. Even though I use some of these words, I still like to hear the simple definitions. It helps them stick in my brain.
That is the best way to learn. Let's start with word number 1, overwhelmed. Emma, you used this at the start. It means feeling like you have too much to deal with. It's like when your to-do list has 20 things on it and you feel like crying.
Exactly. For example, I felt overwhelmed by all the new English grammar rules.
Perfect. Word number 2 is metaphor. We used this when we talked about learning being like watering a plant. A metaphor is a way to describe something by comparing it to something else that is similar.
So saying, my brain is a bowl of soup is a metaphor?
Yes, it's a great way to explain a feeling without being literal. Next is word number 3, perspective. This just means a point of view or a way of looking at something.
Like, from my perspective, winter is the best season. Even if you think summer's better, that is just my perspective.
Exactly. Word number 4 is inevitable. We use this to talk about being nervous. Inevitable means something that is certain to happen and cannot be avoided.
Like, if you leave chocolate in the sun, it is inevitable that it will melt.
Great example. Word number 5 is clarify. To clarify means to make something clear or easier to understand. If you don't understand me, you ask me to clarify.
Could you please clarify what time the meeting starts? I use that one at work a lot.
And our final one is slip of the tongue. This is a phrase that means a small mistake in speaking. You know the right word, but the wrong one comes out of your mouth by accident.
I called my teacher Mom by accident. It was just a slip of the tongue. That happened to me once. It was so funny.
It happens to everyone. Well, Emma, I think we have given our listeners a lot of great tools today. 20 phrases and some big new words to practice.
I feel much more confident already. I'm going to go out and try at least one of these phrases today. Maybe I'll go back to that restaurant and use "I'd appreciate it if you could."
That is the spirit. Remember, everyone, your progress doesn't end here. Every day is a new chance to speak with a little more courage.
Thank you for listening to us and being part of our cozy little English world. We are so proud of you.
Goodbye for now, and keep practicing. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye-bye.